The space market was hidden deep inside the red caves of Mars. Only the rich and dangerous came here. The air smelled of smoke, oil, and secrets. Strange lights blinked, and alien voices echoed through the narrow tunnels. This was no normal market. Here you could buy anything, weapons, secrets. Even living beings. Jack Harper, an Earthman in his early 30s, walked through the crowd. He looked simple, jeans, jacket, and a tired face, but his eyes were sharp. He was an engineer, had spent years working on mining ships. Life was hard, lonely, and full of silence. He didn't come here to buy anything. He just wanted to see what this place really was, but then he saw her. In the center of the auction hall, under cold blue lights, stood a tall alien woman. She was not like others. Her skin was light silver. Her eyes were golden and fierce. Chains wrapped around her arms and legs, but her face showed no fear. Her black armor was damaged, but she still looked powerful, like a fighter who would never. Neil. The auctioneer, a fat alien with 6 arms, shouted, "Next item, a rare catch. A female from the lost planet Arvona, a warrior, a killer. Once led an army, strong, fast, fearless." The crowd laughed. Some looked scared. Some looked excited. "No one can control her," the auctioneer said. "She has already killed 3 owners. That's why the price starts low, only 5,000 credits." Jack felt something strange. He had seen many aliens before, but never someone like her. She didn't beg, she didn't cry. She just stood, proud and calm. Her eyes met his, and for a second he forgot everything. It was like she was looking into his soul. People began to whisper, "She's cursed. She killed the buyer. Only a fool would buy her." Jack didn't understand why, but his hand went up. "I'll take her," he said quietly. The auctioneer laughed. "We have a buyer. Earthman with a death wish." A few people clapped. Some shook their heads. The alien woman didn't move, but her golden eyes didn't leave Jack. Papers were signed. A control chip was handed to Jack, used to lock or unlock her chains. She was now his property. Jack walked up to her slowly. He pressed a button and her chains dropped to the ground. "Follow me," he said. She said nothing. But she followed as they walked through the crowd. Whispers followed them like ghosts. "You just bought your end." Dead in one night. Jack didn't speak. He led her to his small ship outside the market. It was old, rusty, but fast. Inside he showed her a room. "You can rest here," he said, still no reply. She stood at the door and looked around. "My name is Jack," he added. She finally looked at him and spoke just one sentence. "I did not ask." Her voice was calm, but sharp like a blade. Jack smiled. "Fair enough." Later that night, Jack sat in the control room looking at her profile on the system. Name, unknown, race, Arvonian. Crime, rebel leader. Status, highly dangerous. He looked back at the camera feed. She was still standing in the same place, arms crossed, watching the door like a guard. "She's not just a fighter," Jack whispered. "She's something more." Then suddenly, the alarm rang. Warning, intruders. Detected. Jack jumped up. 3 masked figures had entered his ship. Pirates. They moved fast, holding weapons. One of them grabbed Jack. "Give us the girl," he growled. Before Jack could speak, something moved behind them, fast like lightning, the silver-skinned warrior struck like thunder. In 5 seconds, it was over. The pirates lay on the floor, unconscious or worse. She looked at Jack, her hands still glowing from the fight. "You're welcome," she said, then turned and walked away. Jack stood in shock. Not just from the attack, but from her power, her speed, her control. She could have killed him. But she didn't. He walked after her. "Do you have a name?" he asked. She paused. Then, without turning, she replied, "Zyra, last of the sky." Blades? The name hit Jack like cold wind. He had heard that name before, in war stories, in whispers from old space travelers. A ghost from a forgotten war. Zyra looked at him, her golden eyes softening just a little. "You freed me," she said. "That means your fate is now tied to mine." Jack blinked. "Is that good or bad?" Zyra smiled, not kindly, but like someone who knew things he didn't. "We'll see," she said. And in the distance, Deep in the shadows of space, someone was watching them. With hunger in their eyes, the stars outside the ship moved slowly, like ghosts floating in the black sky. Inside, all was quiet except for the hum of the engine. Jack sat in the pilot's seat, staring at the woman who now stood near the window. She didn't sleep, she didn't sit. She hadn't moved in hours. Cy or a dot that was the name she gave. A name that echoed in Jack's mind like a secret waiting to explode. He had heard it before, in a deep space bar, an old alien had whispered. It while drinking black dust whiskey. They say Zyra burned 10 cities with her bare hands, the old alien said. Not a woman, a weapon. Now that name was standing in his ship, but Zyra didn't look like a monster. She looked like someone who had lost too much and stopped talking about it. Jack made 2 cups of synth tea and walked toward her. Want? One? She didn't even turn. I don't eat or drink what I don't make, Jack shrugged. Suit yourself. He sat on the floor, placed the cup beside him, and took a slow sip. You could have killed me back there, he said softly. Why didn't you? Zyra finally turned, her golden eyes sharp and cold. You paid for me. That makes you my responsibility, Jack laughed. That's not how ownership works. She stepped closer. I am not owned. I only follow my own rules. And what are those rules? Zyra leaned down slightly, her face inches from his. Rule 1. Don't die unless it's worth it. Rule 2. Never trust kindness. Rule 3. Always kill the last hunter first. She stood again. Jack raised an eyebrow. Sounds like a fun life. It kept me alive, she replied. Silence filled the room again. Jack watched the stars. Zyra watched Jack, then suddenly the ship lights flickered. Warning, incoming signal. The ship's voice said. Jack stood quickly and checked the screen. It's a coded message. Someone's tracking us. Zyra moved to the control panel faster than Jack could react. She pressed a few buttons. Encrypted bounty signal, she said. They know I escaped. Jack looked at her. How big is the bounty? Zyra replied. Calmly, 10 million credits. Jack's mouth opened slightly. 10 million? Yes, for you, yes, you stepped back. That's enough to buy a small moon, she nodded, or a big army. Why are they offering that? Much? Zyra didn't answer. Jack stared at her. Who are you, really? Zyra's face didn't change, but her eyes. They softened, just for a second. I was born in the fire pits of Arvona. Trained from age 5. I led the Skyblades at 17. We fought for freedom and lost. My people are gone. I am the last. Jack sat down again. Her words were simple, but heavy like stone. Why did you fight? Zyra looked away. Because I believed in something. And now? I believe in nothing, only survival. Suddenly the ship shook. Proximity alert, the system said. Unidentified ship approaching. Jack jumped up. Pirates again? Zyra moved to the window. No, worse, bounty hunters. A sleek black ship hovered beside them. It had no lights, no flags. Silent and deadly. They won't talk, Zyra said. They'll attack. We run or we fight. Jack checked the fuel. Levels. We can't outrun that ship. Zyra cracked her neck. Then we fight. Jack looked at her, surprised. You say that so calmly? It's just another day. The bounty ship fired, not at the engine, but at the side door. A hole burned through the metal. 3 tall figures stepped in, helmets, dark armor, long guns. Zyra stepped forward without a weapon. The first hunter aimed and fired. Zyra dodged, a blur of movement. She reached him in 2 seconds, grabbed his arm, and broke it like glass. His gun fell. She spun, kicked the second in the chest, sending him flying into the wall. The third fired rapidly, but Zyra grabbed the first gun and returned fire. The third dropped instantly. Jack stared, stunned. He had never seen anything move like that. Zyra turned to him. Stay down next time. She walked over to the second. Hunter, now groaning on the floor. Who sent you? She asked coldly. He spat blood. The collector wants you and your buyer. Both of you ... alive. Zyra's face changed. Alive? She whispered. Jack frowned. Who's the collector? Zyra stood up. A ghost, a warlord. He collects weapons. And people who are more than what they seem, Jack laughed nervously. Well, I'm no one, I'm just a mechanic. Zara looked at him, truly looked at him for the first time. No. She said, you're not just a mechanic. You touched the command system back at the temple without knowing its language. And it responded. Jack blinked. What are you saying? I think... Zara stepped closer, her voice quiet. You carry something inside you, something very old, something dangerous. Jack shook his head. I don't believe in destiny. Zara smiled, just slightly. It doesn't matter. Destiny believes in you. And as they flew away from the broken bodies and the silent enemy ship far across the galaxy, a new bounty alert was sent. Target Jack Harper, connected to Zara, potential. Guardian. New bounty, 20 million credits. The ship moved through deep space like a silent shadow, leaving no trail behind. Jack sat in the pilot's seat, checking the scanners every few minutes. Zara sat beside him, arms crossed, eyes closed, but Jack knew she was not asleep. She was listening. Always listening. Since the attack, nothing had followed them, but silence in space was never safe. It was a warning. Something always came next. Jack turned toward her. Where do we go now? Zara opened her eyes. Somewhere no bounty hunter dares to follow? And where is that? She pointed to the map. Zone 9, mining moon sector. Black, full of poison gas and old machines, no law, no rules. No help, Jack frowned. Sounds perfect. They jumped into light speed. The stars stretched and twisted outside the window. Jack had so many questions about Zara, about the bounty, about the strange message the temple had shown him, but for now, he stayed quiet. He could feel something changing inside him. Dreams. Memories, or maybe visions. Zara watched him. You feel it, don't you? She asked. Jack looked at her. Feel what? The pull. Like a voice in your blood. Jack nodded slowly. It's like something is waking up. Zara's face was serious. It's not just bounty hunters who want you now. If they know what you carry, the real war will begin. Before Jack could ask more, the ship dropped out of light speed. In front of them, a dead-looking moon, gray and broken, covered in smoke and red lights. Mining moon, sector black dot. They landed near a factory ruin. Jack put on his filter mask. Zara didn't need one dot as they walked through the dust. Jack whispered, What is this place? Zara looked around. Long ago, they mined energy crystals here. Then the crystals turned unstable. Explosions, sickness. They left everything behind. Suddenly, a sound, clank, clank, clank. Jack turned. A tall metal robot walked toward them, rusted, old, but armed. Identify, it said. Zara stepped forward. Travelers, no threat. The robot scanned them. Pass. It walked away. Jack sighed. Even the robots are tired here. They entered an old warehouse. Inside, broken. Ships, alien parts, strange lights flickered. A figure stepped out from behind a wall. A short alien, blue skin, 4 eyes. Zara? He said in shock. You're alive? Zara gave a small nod. Hello, Sen. The alien smiled wide. I thought you were dead. I was, almost. Sen looked at Jack. And this is? Important. She said, we need rest, supplies, no questions. Sen nodded quickly. Of course, of course. Stay as long as you need, just be careful. Word spreads fast in places like this. That night, Jack sat on the roof of the warehouse, looking at the stars. Zara joined him. You're not like other humans, she said. Jack chuckled. Because I'm not screaming and running? No, she replied. Because the ancient tech responds to you. Jack looked at her. What is it responding to? She shook her head. I don't know, but the old worlds. The first races, they locked power in bloodlines. Maybe you're a key. Jack stared into the dark sky. A key to what? Zara didn't answer. She didn't have to. Suddenly, the warehouse shook. Boom. Alarms rang. Red lights flashed. Zara jumped up. They found us. Jack followed her down the stairs. Sen was already hiding behind a box. A huge ship hovered outside. Bounty hunters poured out. Not amateurs this time. Professionals, Zyra turned to Jack. You ready? Jack grabbed a small laser pistol. Not even close? Zyra smirked. Good, let's begin. They split. Zyra ran into the open, fast, loud, a distraction. She took down 3 hunters in seconds. Jack stayed in cover using his tech. He hacked into the broken factory's control panel. Doors slammed shut behind. The hunters. Steam vents opened, blinding them. Zyra moved like lightning through the smoke. One by one they fell, but then a massive figure stepped in. Over 8 feet tall, full metal armor, red eyes, Zyra stopped. Ravox, she whispered. Korth's dog. The metal giant pointed at her. Surrender, or the human dies. Zyra looked toward Jack, who was still in hiding. She raised her hands. I surrender. Ravox moved forward, slowly, wise choice. But just then, Jack shouted from the shadows, Now! He triggered an old mining beam, a blinding laser shot from the wall, hitting Ravox in the side. The giant roared in. Pain, stumbling, Zyra dashed forward, jumped high, and brought her elbow crashing down on Ravox's helmet. Sparks flew, the beast fell, Zyra grabbed Jack. We run. Now, they escaped through a hidden tunnel under the floor. Dust and smoke followed them. As they reached their ship again, Zyra looked at him. You saved me, Jack shrugged. I thought you didn't believe in kindness. I don't, she said. But I believe in you. As the ship lifted off, far behind them, Ravox stood again, damaged but not defeated, and above them, a message spread through the stars. Target, Jack Harper, class changed. Priority Alpha, protect at all costs or kill before activated. Jack read the message on the screen. Activated? He whispered. Zyra stared ahead. They're afraid of what you'll become. Asterisk, the stars outside were quiet, but Jack's mind was not. He sat on the floor of his ship, hands shaking. On the screen, the message repeated again. Jack Harper, class changed, priority Alpha, protect or eliminate. Jack looked at Zyra. What does that mean? Why would they kill or protect me? Zyra's face was still unreadable. Because you're more than they expected, more than we expected. Jack stood up. I'm not special, I'm just a mechanic. Zyra shook her head. You're not just anything. The system doesn't make mistakes. Priority Alpha means you are now a threat or a weapon. Jack rubbed his face. Then what am I supposed to do? Zyra looked at the stars. Find the truth. They traveled in silence for 2 days. No music, no talking. Only the sound of the ship and the heavy weight of questions. Zyra searched old maps, looking for something, a place lost in time. Jack noticed how focused she was. How quiet. Finally, she found it. There, she said, pointing at a blinking dot. An old world, hidden in dark space, abandoned for centuries. It was once a temple of the Skyblades. That's where we'll find answers? Jack frowned. How do you know it still exists? Zyra's eyes narrowed. Because they erased it from the charts. That's how I know it's real. They jumped into light speed. Hours later, the stars faded and a black planet appeared in the distance. It had no light, no name. Just silence. As they entered the planet's orbit, the ship systems blinked and GLITCHE tapped the controls. It's interfering with tech. We need to land manually. The ship touched down on rocky ground. The air was cold, thin. They stepped out. The land was dark, covered in broken statues and symbols. Huge stone towers stood like silent watchers. Jack felt something strange, a pressure in his chest. Not fear. Not pain, something else. Where are we? He asked. Zyra looked around. This is a place where power sleeps. They walked through ruins until they reached a gate made of black stone. Symbols were carved into it, glowing softly when Jack stepped near. Zyra stopped walking. This only opens to those of the blood. The blood? Jack asked. She nodded. Bloodlines chosen by the old ones. Warriors, kings, guardians. Jack touched the gate. It open, without sound, without force. Like it was waiting for him. They stepped inside. The room was huge, dark, full of floating lights and ancient machines. In the center stood a glowing platform. Jack stepped onto it. Instantly, the lights grew brighter. Symbols floated in the air. A voice, not male, not female, echoed in the room. "Welcome, Guardian." Zara stepped back. "It's real." The voice continued. "You carry the spark, buried deep, hidden for generations. Now it awakens." Jack looked around. "Spark? What spark?" The platform showed a hologram, an image of stars, battles, falling empires. "The spark is not a weapon. It is a key. It opens the last gate. The heart of the universe." Zyra's eyes widened. "That's why they want you dead." "If you unlock the heart, everything changes." Jack turned. "Why me?" The voice answered. "Because you were born from both fire and silence. You are the balance." The bridge. Suddenly the lights turned red. Alert. External forces approaching. Zyra pulled her weapon. "They found us." Jack stepped off the platform. His body felt warmer, stronger, like something inside him had shifted. Zyra looked at him. "Can you feel it now?" Jack nodded. "I don't know what it is, but it's alive in me." They ran back through the ruins. Outside, 2 bounty ships landed. Armed men poured out. Zyra turned to Jack. "Time to fight." But Jack stopped. "No," he said. "Let me try something." He closed his eyes. The air began to move. The dust lifted. The symbols from the gate glowed again. Zyra stepped back. "Jack, what are you doing?" Jack didn't answer. His hands, lit with blue energy, pure, humming, bright. He opened his eyes, now glowing faintly. He raised his hands. A wall of force exploded outward. Not fire. Not wind, something else. The bounty hunters flew back like toys in a storm. Ships tilted. Alarms screamed. Jack dropped to his knees. Zyra caught him. "Are you okay?" He looked up, his voice shaky. "That wasn't me. It was something through me." Zyra helped him stand. "The power is waking up. But now they'll come faster." Jack nodded. "Then we'll run faster." Back on the ship, as they lifted off, Zyra sat beside him. "You were chosen, Jack, not by me, not by fate, by the spark itself." Jack looked at his hands. "But chosen for what?" Zyra's voice was quiet. "To open the last gate, and maybe end everything we know." Far behind them, the ruined temple began to shake. A new signal spread across the galaxy. "The spark is active." In a cold room on a distant ship, a dark figure stood in silence. Red eyes watched the signal. "He's awake," the figure whispered. "Begin the hunt." The stars outside were peaceful, but inside the ship, war lived in silence. Zyra stood in the weapons room, sharpening a blade that she hadn't used in years. It was shaped like a crescent moon, dark metal, smooth and deadly. Her hands moved. Slowly, carefully, like she was trying to remember something long forgotten. Jack watched her from the doorway. "You never told me," he said. Zyra didn't stop. "Told you what?" "Who you really are, what you ran from, what you're hiding." She looked up at him. Her golden eyes were calm but full of fire. "You're not ready for that truth." "I wasn't ready for any of this," Jack replied. "But I'm still here." Zyra put the blade down. "Fine, you want the truth? I'll give it to you." She walked past him to the main room. Jack followed. She sat down, staring at the dark space outside the window. "I was born on Arvona, a planet of warriors," she began. "We didn't have schools or cities like Earth. We had training fields, blades before books. I was the daughter of General Kale, the man who led our people during the war." Jack sat across from her, listening quietly. "He raised me like a soldier, not a daughter. By age 7, I could fight 10 grown men. By 15, I led my first mission, and by 17, I started a war." Jack blinked. "You started it?" She nodded. "My father wanted peace with the council. He was tired. But I wasn't. I saw how the council treated outer planets like dirt. I believed they feared us because we were strong. I believed we had to strike first, so I gave the order, 1 city, 1 attack. But that 1 attack started a fire that burned everything." She paused. Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled. "My people trusted me. They followed me. And they died for it." Jack leaned forward. "What happened to your father?" Zyra's jaw tightened. "He tried to stop me. I didn't listen." The last time I saw him, he called me a traitor to my blood. Silence filled the room for a long moment. And then? Jack asked. The council sent someone, she said quietly. Not a general. Not a soldier, a collector. A monster named Korth. He offered one chance, surrender or extinction. I refused. He erased us. Her voice dropped. In 2 days, every Skyblade was gone. My army, my family, my world, all dust. I was the only one left. Jack looked at her. And you've been running ever since. Zara nodded. Not just from Korth, from myself. From the choices I made. Jack stood and walked to the window. Then why save me? Why fight now? She looked at him. Because you're not a mistake. You didn't ask for power, but it chose you, and maybe, just maybe, if I protect you, I can make peace with what I destroyed. Jack turned to her. You think protecting me is your redemption? No, she said. It's my second chance. Later, the ship arrived at a supply outpost, quiet, floating near a dying star. They docked and stepped inside. Zara wore her hood low. Jack kept his eyes open. Inside, everything looked normal. But then, something felt wrong. Too quiet. Too clean. Jack whispered, Feel that? Zara's hand moved to her weapon. Trap! Too late. The lights went out. Metal doors slammed shut. Jack turned. Zara! Before he finished, figures dropped from the ceiling, hunters in black armor, fast and silent. Blades out. No guns. They came to capture, not kill. Zara moved first. Her blade flashed. One attacker fell. Jack grabbed a shock rod and defended himself. He wasn't a soldier, but he moved with speed that surprised even him. 2 more hunters surrounded him. He ducked, rolled, and sent a shockwave into their legs. Zara fought like a storm, but even she was slowing down. They were many. She was only one. Then a loud voice echoed through the chamber. Enough. Everyone froze. From the shadows stepped a tall figure in a long dark coat. No helmet, no mask. Korth. His eyes were cold, his face smooth, ageless. He looked like a man, but something in his presence felt older. Zara's hand tightened around her blade. Korth, she whispered. Jack looked at him. You're the one who destroyed her world. Korth smiled. She destroyed her world. I simply ended what she began. He walked closer, looking at Jack. And you, the boy with the spark, you have no idea what you are, do you? Jack stepped back. Korth continued. That power inside you, it's not just old. It's dangerous. It will consume you. Let me help you control it. Before it kills you. Zara stood between them. You're not touching him. Korth raised a hand. The hunters pointed weapons again, but Jack stepped forward. Why are you afraid of me? He asked. Korth's smile faded. Because power like yours changes the game. Jack narrowed his eyes. Good, let's play. Then, without warning, Jack raised his hands. A pulse of blue energy burst from him, stronger than before. The room shook, lights exploded. Hunters flew back. Zara grabbed Jack's hand. We need to go, now. They ran, fighting through the smoke. Alarms screamed. Doors blasted open. Back on the ship, Jack dropped to his knees, breathing hard. Zara helped him up. You're stronger than I thought. Jack looked at his hands. So? And one behind them, Korth watched the ship vanish into the stars. No more running, he whispered. The end begins now. Earth was glowing blue beneath the stars, calm, quiet, still unaware that war was coming. Jack stood by the ship's window, staring at the planet he once called home. He hadn't seen Earth in years. It looked smaller now, not because it had changed, but because he had, behind him, Zara stood with arms crossed. Her face was hard, but her voice was soft. You don't have to go down there. Jack turned. I do. They need to know what's coming. Zara nodded once. Then I'm going with you. They landed in a hidden zone outside Earth's main defense base. The sky was cloudy. Drones buzzed overhead. Soldiers stood alert with high-tech weapons, scanning every ship. Jack and Zara walked forward, hands raised. The guards surrounded them instantly. ID now! One barked. Jack stepped closer. Jack Harper, civilian, mechanic. I need to speak to the council. It's urgent. The guard laughed. Everyone's got something urgent these days. Zyra stepped forward. Tell them the spark has returned. The guard paused. What did you say? Zyra repeated calmly. The spark has awakened. The guards exchanged looks. One of them ran to alert command. Minutes later, a ship arrived. From it stepped General Lin, leader of Earth's defense. A tall woman with steel-gray eyes and a face that didn't smile. She looked at Jack. Come with me, both of you. Inside the base, Jack told them everything about the bounty, the ancient temple, the spark, Korth, and the warnings from the stars. General Lin listened quietly. When he finished, she turned to her officers. Get me global command. All of it. We may have only hours. Jack was surprised. You believe me? Lin stared at him. I've seen stranger things. And your eyes are glowing? Jack touched his face. The spark inside him was waking up more each day. Hours later, all major cities on Earth began preparations. Shields went up. Spaceports locked down, armies gathered. For the first time in decades, Earth was at full alert. Zyra trained a group of elite soldiers. She taught them Arvonian fighting techniques, fast, brutal, and silent. Jack worked with engineers to upgrade Earth's defense systems. His connection to old alien tech made it easier. Machines responded to him like they had been waiting, but deep inside, Jack felt something else. Pressure. Every time he used the spark, it grew stronger, hotter, wilder. It whispered to him, Use me. That night, Jack stood on the rooftop of the base. Zyra joined him. You're not sleeping, she said. I can't, Jack replied. Every time I close my eyes, I see fire. Zyra looked at the stars. It's not the power that scares you. It's what it could make you do. Jack nodded. What if I lose control? What if I become like Korth? Zyra stepped closer. Then I'll stop you. Jack smiled, but there was fear behind it. You really think I can stop what's coming? Zyra looked at him. No, I think we can. Then it began. The sky cracked open. Korth's ships entered Earth's orbit, dark, silent, deadly, dozens of them, each one large enough to carry thousands of soldiers. Earth's defense systems activated. Cannons fired from the ground. Lasers shot from orbit, but Korth's fleet was ready. Their ships moved like shadows, dodging attacks, breaking through lines. Explosions filled the night. Jack ran to the control room. We can't fight them like this. They're too fast. Zyra appeared behind him. Then we changed the rules. She handed him a small device, Arvonian tech. What is this? He asked. A virus, built to shut down enemy ships? But it needs to be delivered from inside their lead vessel. Jack stared at the screen. You mean Korth's ship? Zyra nodded. I'll go, Jack said. Zyra grabbed his arm. No. You go, I go too. They flew in a stealth pod toward the largest enemy ship. Earth's sky burned below them. Cities fought to survive. Civilians hid in shelters. Earth was bleeding. As they neared Korth's ship, Jack felt the spark inside him grow wild. The pod crashed through a side door. Jack and Zyra jumped out, weapons ready. Inside, the ship was black and alive. Walls pulsed like skin. It felt more like a creature than a machine. Suddenly, Korth's voice echoed. You brought the spark to me. How kind. Jack shouted, I'm not your weapon? Korth appeared from the shadows. He wasn't alone. Behind him, a machine built from bones and tech, powered by stolen sparks. You think you're special, Korth said. But you're just a key, and I'm the door. Zyra stepped forward, blade ready. Then let's end this. The fight was fast and brutal. Zyra and Korth clashed, blade to blade, strike for strike. She was faster, he was stronger. Jack ran to the core chamber. He placed the virus device on the system console. The machine screamed. The ship shook violently. Korth turned and roared. What have you done? Jack's body lit up with blue light. The spark took over. I woke up, Jack said. He raised his hands. Energy burst out, breaking the ships. Systems, Zyra shouted. Jack, it's too much. Jack was glowing, floating, burning, but he smiled. It's enough. Back on Earth, people looked up as the sky turned blue again. Korth's ships fell from orbit like dying stars. Inside the falling lead ship, Zyra pulled Jack close. Stay with me, she said. His light faded. I'm still here. He whispered. They escaped in the last second. The ship exploded above the ocean. Earth was safe, for now, but deep in the stars, something else had awakened. A voice, ancient and cold, whispered across space. The gate has been touched. The final path begins. The stars were quiet again. Earth had survived the fire. Cities were damaged, skies were gray, but people were alive. They had seen death fall from above and hope rise from within. At the center of it all stood Jack Harper, once a simple mechanic. Now something far more. He sat alone on the edge of a healing cliff, the ocean stretching below. Blue waves crashed softly. The spark inside him had settled, but it wasn't silent. It was waiting, watching, breathing. Behind him, Zara stepped onto the stone. You're not sleeping again, she said. Jack didn't turn. Feels like if I sleep, I'll wake up in another life. Zara sat beside him. She no longer wore her full armor, just simple black cloth, her blade resting on her back like a silent promise. Jack looked at her. You were right. About what? He smiled slightly. I wasn't ready. She tilted her head. And now? Jack took a deep breath. Now, I think I was never supposed to be ready. I was supposed to change. Zara didn't reply, but she understood. She had changed too. They had all changed. Far above them, hidden behind the moons of Jupiter, a new object arrived. Not a ship, not a weapon, a gate. Round, floating, ancient, larger than Earth's capital cities combined. Its surface glowed with symbols no living being could read. Except one. Jack felt it before the alarms ever rang. He stood suddenly. It's here, he whispered. Zara stood with him. The last gate. The council called Jack into orbit. This time, no guards, no questions. Just silence, respect, and fear. Jack stood in front of Earth's leaders, generals and scientists. He pointed at the screen showing the gate. It's not here to destroy, he said. It's here to choose. Choose what? One leader. Asked. Jack looked down at his hands. Whether this galaxy should continue or reset. The room fell silent. Zara stepped forward. The gate is a test. It awakens only when a spark is ready. Jack, is that spark? One scientist asked. And if we fail? Zara's voice was steady. Everything ends. Time, light, life, it all folds back. The council fell into panic. Debates started. Orders clashed. But Jack wasn't listening. The spark was pulling him. He turned to Zara. I need to go. She nodded. Then I'm going with you. They boarded the ship for one final journey. No army, no weapons. Just two souls against the unknown. As they approached the gate, its center began to open. Not like a door, more like an eye. Watching. Jack stepped onto a floating platform that extended from the ship. Zara stayed behind. This is your path, Jack turned to her. You've been with me from the beginning. And I'll be here at the end, she said. The platform moved forward. Jack floated into the center of the gate. Inside there was no sky, no ground, only light. And whispers. Jack heard voices. Some sounded like his, some like strangers, some like gods. You carry the spark. You are the key. Will you open the future? Or close it forever? A figure formed before him, glowing, shifting, not quite real. It looked like Jack, but older, wiser. Who are you? Jack asked. The figure smiled. I am what you become if you choose to rise, Jack blinked. And if I don't? The figure turned into a shadow. Then I am what you become if you fall. The space around him shifted. He saw Earth burning. He saw galaxies collapsing. He saw Zara alone in the dark. He saw peace. He saw war. He saw himself, both as a hero and as a monster. Then the voice returned. You may write the ending. Choose. Back on the ship, Zara stood still. Time felt frozen. Suddenly, the gate pulsed with light. The space around it bent and cracked. Jack, she whispered. Inside the gate, Jack took a breath. I don't want to be a god, he said. The voice replied. Then be something better. Jack closed his eyes. The spark flared. He rewrote fate. The gate shattered. Not with violence, but with release. Its pieces turned into stars, flying into deep space. Jack floated down, glowing softly, eyes calm. Zyra caught him as he landed. "What happened?" she asked. Jack smiled. "I didn't choose power, I chose possibility." In the days that followed, strange things happened. Dead worlds bloomed again. Lost species returned. Machines began to dream. And in the center of it all was Jack, the man who once bought a warrior and ended up saving the galaxy. Zyra stayed by his side, not as a guard, not as a fighter. As a friend. As the woman who helped rewrite destiny. One evening, as stars twinkled across the sky, Zyra asked him, "So what now?" Jack leaned back and smiled. "We live."